Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. Oh boy, 85,000, kind of holding here in this range. Now, if I look here on the charts, I had an alert set for a short at about 87,400. And what do you know, the price action wicked just below that level. Never truly got an opportunity to get into that. Same thing happened as well at 90,000. I just wanted to short at 90,000. Price comes up to 89.5. So the truth is it's difficult to get into trades right now with how volatile the price action is. But as you see, the price is still going down. So I'll explain more so as to why I feel like the price may continue lower. There's some significant data based on what CME futures as well as liquidation that we want to recognize incentivizing the price to continue lower. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Also, all the tariff crap with the United States and Europe. There's just a lot of reasons why, fundamentally too, the price is probably going to continue to bleed out. So I'm not subscribing much to the bounce off key level fib scenarios that I see getting thrown out there. Some people say we're bouncing out the 0.618 fib level at 85,000. I don't think that's accurate. And again, mainly why is because they're just not drawing out the fib levels correctly. And I'll show you more about that too here in a minute. So before we get started, just ask you to hit the like button, maybe even comment below. Love to hear your thoughts. Deeply appreciate that. Thank you again so much for being an amazing part of my life. We take a look here, of course, at, this is the wrong chart. This is Solana. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin instead. And when we look at Bitcoin, there's a lot of liquidation down between, what is it, 76 and 80,000, if I can recall correctly. Let me go ahead and describe that here. Let's actually just jump right into that so you can kind of see. Yeah, about 76.5 upwards about 79,000. So easy to remember, 76 to 80K is that heavy area of liquidation based on the last month. So these are basically long positions that are jeopardized or soon to be jeopardized if the price continues too much lower. Okay? And that's a lot of liquidation. Each one of these bars is about $6 billion in liquidation, at least the deep red. So to give you perspective, there's a lot of liquidation there. I haven't counted it up yet, but it's profound. We can see here on the smaller time frames in the last 7 days as well, there's some accumulation too. These are basically late longs here, hitting some longs in the 82 to 84K range, essentially with stop losses and or liquidation events in that area. So what does that mean for us? Well, it just means that we are too close to that and not close enough to 100,000. Therefore, the likelihood of hitting that level is higher. I'll also show you a CME gap here in a second, in case you're not familiar, from a month or two ago. That still hasn't been filled, and that's roughly in the same range. We can see 35 billion in liquidation delta as of the lowest point, probably about 30 to 25 billion at this point. That's quite a lot. Generally speaking, you don't want to try to take a long into that. It makes no sense. Like everyone and their dog is shorting right now. All the more reason why we'll probably see some kind of weird little pump, because that's just how market makers are. But there's a good chance that everyone else in the world right now is wanting to sell this coin. So the likelihood of further downside just makes more sense, at least to me. Again, more so macro, fundamentally, those things all there are factoring in. When we come to local open interest, we can see here 87,000, 87.5, and roughly 88,000 are those three areas of concentration. So these are areas where people are taking late longs. Look at this here. Imagine being the person to buy 88,000 right there at the top, and the price goes right back down. This happens all the time, folks, and I've been there before too, don't get me wrong, but when the price just monumentally drops, you don't just try to jump into a trade. It doesn't work out very well. In fact, I tried to take a long right around the 92K range when Bitcoin first pulled back. That was a previous support level. It made sense, but also the price was dropping kind of fast. In hindsight, it shouldn't have done that, right? Again, easy to say, different to do, but generally speaking here, try not to be a late long, trying to take a long when the price is breaking out into a key level resistance. It doesn't make a ton of sense. So open interest above us implies we have resistance between 87 and 88.5 as a close approximate. So let's look at the daily time frame, work our way down, kind of see what's going on here. And again, based on yesterday's analysis, I was wanting to short in this range of about 87.5, 87,000. And unfortunately, the price action hasn't been able to recover to that level yet. So again, a lot of missed opportunities in the market right now, folks. You're not alone. It happens quite a lot right now. But it's actually okay to miss these kind of opportunities because they're just moving so fast and so quick that it's very irresponsible in a lot of ways to take a significant amount of trades or to go too hard on trades right now. If I'm going to send out a trade signal to my community, it's going to be obviously low leverage, low position size. The recommendation is to be safe and kind of steer clear of this disaster that we're seeing right now. So We're under 30 on the RSI. You don't want to take a long into that. As I mentioned yesterday, you keep your short position open if you have one. And those are folks that are probably shorting from 89 to low 90K range. And that's awesome. Congrats on that. That's fantastic. But we can see stochastic trying to bottom out. That doesn't mean much at all. Some people read into stochastic RSI, and I think it's a good tool to use when things are overextended multiple times. The first time doesn't really mean too much. We see a second stochastic swing to the downside, that we're probably going to be reaching our bottom at that point. This is the first time, it's nothing really to worry about. We are under all moving averages, of course, minus the 200-day SMA. And I get a lot of questions too on this. I'll just touch on it really quick so you understand my thoughts. A simple moving average makes a lot more sense on larger time frames because it gives you real numbers. It's not exponential. It's not a mathematical equation. It's literally just telling you the average price over the last 200 days. This is much more sensible to me on larger time frames. With smaller time frames, trying to find more precise entries, EMAs are a little more beneficial. So I'd recommend EMAs under an hour and maybe anything over an hour SMAs. A little more consistent. But also recognize too, this is not a support level. Okay, this is just an area of confluence. If there's other things that kind of match this area, then it's beneficial. But if you ever analyze and look at SMAs or EMAs, you can see they're not super foolproof, are they? It's not something you want to rely on here. You don't take a long 81.8 just because it's an SMA. Okay, again, it's a trend setter letting us know we're still in a decent position right now with the overall trend to the upside. That's simply it. All right, so the daily time frame, not good. I think we all know that by now. Taking a look here, of course, at the 4 hour, just to quickly recognize some resistance areas. We got to 90,000. That's kind of a psychological resistance. We haven't retested that level yet. Came up as high as 89.5. And then we look here as well, roughly 87,300. That was like a previous daily closure back roughly a few months ago when we entered the 90K range, or just barely entered 90K. So keep in mind that level right there is potentially the resistance here because, well, it was a support level in the past. It held as a support level here recently, but didn't hold here. And if you take a look at this here, folks, this is like standard trading right here. Take a look at this. When the price action comes down, it bounced off key level support from previous support ranges. It loses that support, comes back up to retest as a resistance, and now it's coming back down again. That's essentially how trading is supposed to work in most cases. Support levels hold until they break, and then they reinforce themselves as a resistance moving forward. Okay. Inverse, of course, in bullish behavior. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. That's the 4 hour time frame in a nutshell. Not great. We're below all moving averages, close to 30 on the RSI. MACD, there's so many reasons why you don't take a long position right now. I would love to be able to see the price action recover to like the 87 to 88K range. That seems like a likely area of consideration for a short. For right now, though, I think we're still a little early. I don't like shorting when the price action is moving the way that it moves right now. I prefer for it to be a little bit higher. That's, again, me just being a little more conservative and not wanting to try to short the bottom. So we don't know if this is the bottom yet, right? It might be, but so far the bottom hasn't defined itself yet. Okay, well, you're going to need more time to figure that out. Either way, lagging span's free and clear, implying a short consideration would be more viable. We're below the cloud, which is consolidating right there between 86 and 87. So again, once more reinforcing this area. The last thing I forgot to mention too, let me go ahead and clarify this, the CME and liquidation levels. First of all, on the charts, whenever I have anything in purple, it's generally going to be construed as liquidation ranges. So this is the liquidation range, 76 to 80,000. We've already seen that on the charts here, right? There's a lot of liquidation down there. Okay, so that's important to note that that's an incentive for whales to move the price action that direction. This blue area here is CME gap. It's a CME gap from, back in November when we shot up from we hit 70,000 up to 90,000 in roughly 3 or 4 trading days. Okay? And it left a CME gap there in the 78 to 80.5K range. And that's all reflected here on the chart. So again, just so you know what that is and why those numbers are there, those little boxes, that's why we're going to see some incentive for the price action to continue lower. I think it's a distinct probability we're going to see that level get tested soon. So anyways, that's just some things to kind of think about and be mindful of. I've got some nice limit orders in that area. It would also make sense for the 70K range to be retested. That's a previous all-time high. Wouldn't hurt to see that as a retest as a new low. That would reinforce that. I would probably go pretty heavy with some longs in the 70K range if we see that. Again, emphasis on the word if. This is no guarantee, folks. You got to recognize that. This is a pretty pretty ugly situation no matter how you look at it. We've had 3 strong red candles, followed by today, likely going to be a green doji candle. It's really common to see that happen. That's basically an indecisive state. So the likelihood, again, I think of going down is just as high as going up at this point. But once this overextension calms down and fizzles out, I think we might see further downside. Anyways, I'll update our playout chart. That'll be available for you on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Make sure that you are mindful that there are imposters out there now on Twitter. These little scumbags are forwarding all of my messages, or reposting, I guess you could say, and effectively just probably trying to scam people. So make sure you double check. Only use the link in the description below. Cash trading is the tag you're going to be looking for. Just a quick little heads up there in case you're not familiar. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. I really appreciate you. Have a good one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.